But now next year, I hope we can touch the figure of 2,000 at least.
Sure, sir. It's an ongoing effort. We work towards it, sir.
So what else is happening, Mayank?
All well, Bhaiya. Just carrying on with normal day-to-day work.
We tasted your newly launched product, which were the French fries.
Yeah. You like it?
Amazing, amazing. It reminded me of our Germany days when we had gone to Farm Frieds and McCain's.
Correct, correct.
With the food minister.
Correct.
Good afternoon to everybody.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pani.
How are you?
All well, sir. All well.
How are you, Dr. Rajiv Singh?
Good afternoon. Good. Absolutely fine.
Rajiv is enjoying a good holiday in Pune still.
Absolutely.
Mr. Mayank, I was, and Dr. Singh, I was thinking, I was going through the list as to how Odisha is categorized. This is an expert committee, Odisha. So I was trying to think if we can, I think it needs a renaming. Either we call it a council or whatever, Odisha chapter or whatever.
State council, yeah.
Yeah.
Call it state council.
Yes.
Okay,
So instead of expert committee, Odisha, it should maybe a state council or something like that we should have.
I think that is how we call it. Maybe when the team compiled all the names, they just use the same term for all.
Okay.
But I think we call it Odisha State Council.
Okay, that's fine.
I will need to rejoin. I'm having a little problem with my thing. I'll just join back.
At least something good is there that, although this is a virtual meet, so at least we can have members from all over India joining us,
Absolutely.
That's right.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Hi, Madhuparna.
Good evening, sir.
Hi.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir.
Hi, Bodhi. Hi, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Chala.
That just shows the popularity of Madhuparna. Everybody wants to be named as Madhuparna.
That's well said.
I think, Bodhi, you have joined from her link.
No, there was one common link which has been shared by Chandrani
You can
for
go
all HODs.
on the right-hand side, you can click on rename. On top of the video on the right-hand side, there'll be 3 dots. If you click there, it'll give you the option of rename.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually, sir, for MIT, I was told that since it will be one link for all the HODs, let it be named after Madhuparna, which is why we have so many Madhuparnas on the call.
Hi, Sujoy.
Hello, sir. How are you?
I believe you have an amazing event today with YLF at 6 p.m. Mr. Ram Madhav.
So, Mr. Ram
Yes.
Madhav. Yes, sir.
I was almost tempted to say that, can I join that instead of this?
Actually, it happened only at the last minute.
Thank God, sir, you didn't.
I guess duty calls.
Hi, Mayank.
Hi,
Ji.
Nishant, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Hi, Mr. Mittal.
Hi. Hello.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
With তিনটে dot আছে সেটাতে click করো।
Hello, Dr. Singh. Hi, Mayank.
Hi,
Hi, Mr. Sen. I think North Bengal and Startup Next have already had one round of meeting.
Fabulous.
And I believe the meeting was quite good.
Yes, sir. And I think we've also formed a group where we are trying to share some thoughts, ideas for the way forward. And we also plan to have, internally between me, Sujoy, and ICC Next. So once it gets formed up, we'll also share it with Mr. Mittal on some progress as we make it.
Wow, there's so many Madhuparna Bhaumiks.
Mayank, just checking up. Am I audible?
Yes, you are, sir. Perfect.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Hi, Dr. Basu. How are you?
Rupali,
Hi.
how was your meeting with the CCK today?
Good, good. You're not there.
Unfortunately, no.
Oh, there was a bit of a technical glitch, but then
meeting, but this time today I had to just opt out of it.
so it was. You have to ask your fellow consults that how was it, whether there was some value.
I'm sure with you being there, there has to be an added value.
There was a bit of a technical glitch initially. I was doing it from home. So then I had to switch over to the mobile phone, but then I had to do extempo in the mobile phone. So just went about it. It was COVID and what's next. So that went my pet topics.
Rajiv, am I audible, please?
Yes, please.
Thanks. Nice. Good to see you. Good to see everybody. Hi.
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 Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon. Can't see Mayank. Where is he?
Mayank is
Rajiv, I can see.
here.
Hi, good afternoon. Okay, where are you? No, I'm from the mobile phone, so I'm just sliding and trying to find out.
I'm here. I'm
now I can
blocking
see
the
the box.
background image of Dr. Singh.
Yes.
So I get lost and I get blended.
You can't be blended. Far from it.
I think that's going to be my ambition for 2021. Be blended and lost. Can't wait for Mr. Agarwal to take over so I can actually go into the background and be the background.
I know it's a lot of work. I think
Mayank, even Mr. Agarwal, even Vikash, not do any of the committee members of ICC will allow you to be in the background.
Well
on
said.
that, Rupali.
So forget about background. I'll be the virtual background, right? Like this ICC.
But that's the new normal these days,
You
Hi,
are made.
How are you?
Man, you made history. The most challenging year of the entire career of ICC, I suppose, except
sir,
for the World War II.
Now I'm just looking forward to being history rather than making any history.
I wonder, whether life will ever be the same again. Because we got used to this e-meetings and webinars. I think this will make a difference in the future.
Saves a lot of trouble, expenses, time, everything. So it should be a norm in the future, hopefully.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Totally. especially when you are not really requiring to be on the floor and you need to direct and go through your analytical reports and talk, then you actually can do it from home.
No, besides in the
Very
meetings,
efficiently.
you
Oh, I think you see, personal meetings add a different flavor to the whole meeting. That human element of it, the human contact, I think that it is necessary.
May I? Yeah.
Can I request all the ICC people who have joined us Madhuparna Bhaumik to rename so we know who all are there, please? Otherwise, we'll be dealing with 8 Madhuparna Bhaumiks, and I'm sure that's not something which I look forward to. One's enough for me.
So should we start?
Yeah, I think it's 5 o'clock. Should we start?
May I request everybody to mute, please? May I request everybody to be on mute, please? So Chandrani, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please start.
Very much around.
Yeah. Please start.
Again, requesting all the participants can be on mute. Mr. Avijit Ghosh.
Yeah.
If you can be on mute, please. So we'll
That's
just
right.
Good afternoon, everyone. I thank you for your kind presence at this virtual members meet. On behalf of Indian Chamber of Commerce, I welcome ICC President Mr. Mayank Jalan, Senior Vice President Mr. Vikas Agarwal, Vice President Mr. Pradeep Sureka, past presidents, respected expert committee and regional council chairpersons and co-chairs, and all our much valued members to this ICC Members Meet 2020. We'll start the session with a brief video, a short video, which is an extract from the ICC plenary session with our Honorable Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, held on the 11th of June, 2020.
What is your routine?
Chandrani, you have to join the audio. The audio is, you have to join the video link with the audio, the computer audio.
Sorry, sir?
The audio is not coming. So when you do the share screen, there's an option on the bottom left of the screen. It says join with computer audio or share screen with computer audio.
Sure.
No, you're not there.
Allow me a minute, sir.
When you're doing a share screen,
Can you help me with this? Yeah, sure, sir.
Left, there'll be share computer sound.
Sure. Allow me a minute, please.
Chandrani, are you able to fix it?
Yeah, sure, sir.
Chandrani, left of your screen. Just down left of your screen, there is a audio sign. Please click on to that. Hello. Chandrani, left hand side corner, there is a audio sign. Please click on
নমস্কার আশা করি আপনারা সবাই ভালো আছেন না 95 বর্ষে
Should we skip the video
I'm so
and
sorry
maybe
for the technical
play
glitch.
later?
Sure, sir. May I request our President, Mr. Main Jalan, to kindly take the session forward and to deliver his address to the keynote address to one and all.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to extend a very warm welcome to all of you today at the ICC Members Meet 2020. It is a pleasure to have you amongst us today in this e-forum, and we look forward to an enriching session sharing new ideas and initiatives. I'm extremely happy to announce that ICC has achieved a landmark year with more than 500 new member enrollments over the past year, out of which 260 of them have been added during this lockdown and the pandemic. We wholeheartedly welcome all members to the ICC family. ICC has been known for its keen eye for identifying industry challenges and bottlenecks pertaining to the ongoing national and global business and policies. Over the last 95 years, the Chamber has been working incessantly to address these challenges and bringing it to the notice of the government, and at the same time, taking active role in effective implementation of government policies, both at the national and state levels. Spanning across a plethora of sectors and having members from all spheres of businesses, ICC is an amalgamation of innovative ideas and path-breaking changes, which was also acknowledged by our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi ji, when he addressed the ICC annual plenary session in June this year. In the recent past, ICC has undertaken a number of new initiatives that have been widely accepted and praised by the industry as well as the government. It is said that instead of worrying about what you cannot control, shift your energy to what you can create. Going by this belief, ICC has been on a war footing mode since the onset of the pandemic. The Chamber has been conducting various online webinars, interactive sessions, B2B sessions, and workshops that have been highly appreciated and attended by a large number of participants. There have been significant webinars with prominent ministers, secretaries of the government, and various state governments, allowing the members of both MSMEs and large industries a chance to address their issues with the right authorities upfront. That has led to close coordination between the Chamber, government, and industry. Very recently, ICC has launched the ICC Business e-Directory to help businesses mark their brand at negligible cost. ICC is also going on board with digital education with the launch of a series of online certifications at minimal charges that will be taught by the best educationists in the industry and enhance the knowledge capital in the economy. The Chamber also has a proactive B2B desk that I urge all of you to make use of for all your business requirements. Our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi ji, while addressing the 95th annual plenary session of your Chamber on June 11, 2020 through video conferencing, it was indeed a very proud moment for the chapter. and for all those who are directly or indirectly associated with the chamber. In his speech, the PM lauded ICC for its historic and commendable contribution towards the development of industries and manufacturing in East and Northeast of India and in the nation building for the past 95 years. Here, I would also like to flag some of the major events organized by ICC during the lockdown. We had an exclusive interactive session with Shri Nitin Gadkari, Shri Piyush Goyal, Shri Nirmala Sitharaman, Srimati Smriti Irani, Nobel laureates like Dr. Abhijit Banerjee and Esther Duflo. Several important issues such as COVID pandemic and its impact on the Indian economy were discussed and addressed during these sessions. During the lockdown period, ICC has organized several other sector-specific webinars to help businesses raise their concern to the relevant government departments and officials. Furthermore, ICC led a delegation to the United States and attended business seminars organized by US IBC. The chamber raised few key issues which are critical for the Indian economy and the Indian companies exporting to the US. Indian Chamber of Commerce also participated in an exhibition on defense and security at Bangkok, where we accompanied the Honorable Minister of Defense, Shri Rajnath Singh. ICC has participated in a global exhibition called India Pavilion at Bangkok and Sydney, where Indian manufacturers showcased and promoted their respective products in front of a global crowd or relevant stakeholders. Other than the mentioned events, ICC has organized several other events across the globe and provided market access and business opportunities to Indian business community. I would like to conclude by saying that we are all amid the most challenging times we could have ever imagined of. Although things are gradually improving, uncertainty in terms of when the situation will go back to the pre-COVID levels is hovering. Having said that, I still believe finding opportunity even at the most distressful times should be our mantra, and that together we can work on all your valuable suggestions for mutual benefits. I sincerely hope that the ICC family continues to grow and all the members of the family continue to flourish together, thereby also enhancing the institution's capabilities. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. If we may play the video now.
Give me a minute. I shall do that.
আশা করি আপনারা সবাই ভালো আছেন না 95 वर्ष से निरंतर देश की सेवा करना किसी भी संस्था या संगठन के लिए अपने आप में बहुत बड़ी बात होती है आईसीसी ने पूर्वी भारत और नॉर्थ ईस्ट के डेवलपमेंट में जो कंट्रीब्यूशन दिया है विशेषकर वहां की मैन्युफैक्चरिंग यूनिट्स को वह भी हिस्टोरिकल है आईसीसी के लिए अपना योगदान देने वाले आप सभी को इन 95 वर्ष में जिन जिन महानुभावों ने योगदान दिया है उस प्रत्येक महानुभाव का मैं अभिनंदन करता हूं साथियों आईसीसी ने 1925 में अपने गठन के बाद से आजादी की लड़ाई को देखा है उस लड़ाई को जिया है सरकारों से मुसीबतें भी झेली है भीषण अकाल और अन्न संकटों को देखा है विभाजन को देखा है विभाजन की उस पीड़ा को आपने सहा है और भारत की ग्रोथ ट्रेजेक्टरी का भी आप हिस्सा रहे हैं। आज आपने इस एजीएम में जो पीपल, प्लेनेट एंड प्रॉफिट का विषय उठाया गया है वो भी बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है। कुछ लोगों को लगता है कि ये तीनों एक दूसरे के ऑपोजिट है, विरोधाभासी है, लेकिन ऐसा नहीं है। पीपल, प्लेनेट एंड प्रॉफिट एक दूसरे से इंटरलिंक है। ये तीनों एक साथ फ्लरिश कर सकते हैं, को एग्जिस्ट कर सकते हैं। मैं आपको कुछ उदाहरण देकर समझाता हूं। जैसे भारत में हमने एलईडी बल्ब का एक बहुत बड़ा अभियान चलाया। अब ये एलईडी बल्ब अपने आप में एक बड़ा प्रेरक उदाहरण है। 5-6 वर्ष पहले एक एलईडी बल्ब 350 रुपये से भी ज्यादा में मिलता था। आज वही बल्ब 50 रुपये तक में मिल जाता है। आप सोचिए, कीमत कम होने से देश भर में करोड़ों करोड़ों की संख्या में एलईडी बल्ब घर घर पहुंचे हैं, स्ट्रीट लाइट्स में लग रहे हैं। ये क्वांटिटी इतनी बड़ी है कि इससे उत्पादन की लागत कम हुई है और प्रॉफिट भी बढ़ा है। इससे लाभ किसको मिला है? पीपल को, आम देशवासी को, जिसका बिजली का बिल कम हुआ है। एक मोटा मोटा अंदाज में लगा सकता हूं, आज प्रतिवर्ष एवरी ईयर देशवासियों के करीब करीब 19,000 करोड़ रुपए बिजली के बिल में एलईडी की वजह से बच रहे हैं। 19,000 करोड़ रुपए आपके जेब में बचना, ये बचत गरीब को हुई है, ये बचत देश के मध्यम वर्ग को हुई है और लगातार होने वाली है। इसका लाभ प्लेनेट को भी हुआ है। सरकारी एजेंसियों ने जितने एलईडी बल्ब कम कीमत पर बेचे हैं, अकेले उससे ही हर साल करीब करीब 4 करोड़ टन कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड का एमिशन कम हुआ है। यानी प्रॉफिट दोनों को है, दोनों के लिए विन विन सिचुएशन है। उत्पादक भी कमाता है, विक्रेता भी कमाता है और खरीदार भी कमाता है, और प्लेनेट का तो भला हुआ ही हुआ है। अगर आप सरकार की अन्य योजनाओं और फैसलों को भी देखें तो बीते 5-6 वर्षों में पीपल, प्लेनेट एंड प्रॉफिट का ये कंसेप्ट जमीन पर और मजबूत हुआ है।
Now I would hand it over to Dr. Rajiv Singh for the rest of the event, if he can coordinate and conduct it. Dr. Singh?
Yes, thank you. May I request Mr. Rajat Dalmia first, as the chairman of Membership Expert Committee, to share his views. Let me also mention that we have, I think we would like to keep more time for the interaction. So I would earnestly request all the expert committee chairmen to kindly make brief remarks. Mr. Dalmia.
Thank you, Rajiv. A very warm welcome to all the members. This is your chamber, and I hope we all will take it forward with your valuable inputs and make it the most promising chamber in India. It is one of the most happening chamber of commerce in Eastern India, and it has a presence all over India too. But then we should aim to take this probably to the level of FICCI, CII and SOCHAM, which I am sure will happen in the next 4 to 5 years. Having said that, it's my privilege to welcome all the new members and also our existing members. This year has been really a remarkable year as far as membership has been concerned. And thanks to Dr. Rajiv Singh and Chandrani, we have got many new members this year. And we hope that with all the contributions of these members, their ideas, we can join hand in hand and go forward. And we look forward to increasing the strength of the membership of the chamber in the coming years ahead. As Mayank, as our president, Mr. Jalan already pointed out, this is the 95th year of existence. And we have our offices of Indian Chamber in New Delhi, Mumbai, Guwahati, Bhubaneswar, Hyderabad, Agartala, Siliguri, and Ranchi. The aim of the chamber is to get together the views of all the members and their companies and to put it forward to the necessary people at the government level or within the members itself so that they can all have a win-win situation with all. I think that is all that which I have to say from my side. And I welcome you people once again to this annual members meet. That is it, Rajiv, from my side.
Mr. Dalmia, thank you. May I now request Mr. Pradeep Sureka, Vice President ICC, and also the Chairman of ICC Expert Committee on Real Estate and Urban Infrastructure. Mr. Sureka.
Thank you, Dr. Rajiv. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's indeed a pleasure to be part of the ICC Members Meet. One of its first kinds, I think. We have to get used to such events more and more now. The President has already mentioned about some of the achievements which ICC has been doing. So I will only talk about the Real Estate Infrastructure Expert Committee and what we have been trying to do and what is our objectives and goals ahead in the coming few months. So Build East is one of the largest and the most influential real estate conferences come exhibitions of Eastern India. Unfortunately, it was slated to happen in April and we couldn't do it because of the lockdown. But we are replanning that particular event and this is going to be a webinar. And we will be having this very, very soon, most probably next month or maybe November, where we will bring together the stakeholders and talk about the real estate industry and infrastructure, which has actually been one of the biggest sufferers in this pandemic. And so the event is planned on a year basis, focusing on recent issues. So this year we are going to talk about how the new challenges and the new events the pandemic has brought to this industry, how we are going to take technology forward, how we're going to face, because this being a very labor-intensive industry, so we do have a social distancing issue out here. However, we did have, the urban city responding to the challenges of COVID-19 is a webinar organized recently with the aim of discussing the impact of COVID crisis on the future and urban planning and infrastructure development of Bengal. The papers and everything have been sent to relevant departments and jurisdictions. So I think this is the basic, and I would welcome some suggestions from all our, of course, the committee members do give their suggestions, but anybody else also in the ICC family would like to suggest any other problems or their needs they feel that tomorrow their houses should have this or the houses should have that. We would welcome those suggestions and we will take it up in the Build East program. Thank you, Dr. Rajiv.
Mr. Sureka, thank you. I think you rightly mentioned that the forum is also to understand from the members. And I would now request Mr. Inderdeep Singh, who chairs our Northern Region chapter. Mr. Singh. Mr. Singh, we can't hear your audio. Just check if your
I think Mr.
can't
Singh's
hear.
video is not connected.
I think your
So unmute yourself once. No. I think Dr. Singh, you can move forward and come back to Mr. Singh as soon as he gets the audio connection.
Sure. Okay. May I request Mr. Shrikant Goenka, who chairs our expert committee on agriculture and food processing.
Thank you,
Mr. Goenka.
Thank you, Dr. Singh, and thank you, ICC. As we all know, agriculture and food processing are really the backbone of the Indian economy. And with the Prime Minister's, Honorable Prime Minister's clarion call for the Atmanirbhar Krishi, our role and our responsibility is heightened. India has a great potential with regards to agriculture development and food processing, and the government has now launched great initiatives, in fact, landmark initiatives with regards to the major ordinances that have been promulgated, the FPOs, that is the goal that has been set for the next 5 years, and the huge amount of agri and food processing fund that has been set out. The Indian Chamber, under the guidance of our president, is very actively involved in supporting the agri ecosystem, and with regards to all elements of stakeholders, be it input service providers into agriculture, be it into the post-harvest, literally from farm to fork, the entire ecosystem is serviced by our chamber and by our committee. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to know that my personal experience has been that the kind of access the chamber has in policy advocacy, in reaching out to decision makers, is huge, and we must all avail this advantage and try and raise real issues which can certainly reach the ears of decision makers through the chamber and through our committee. We have had several conferences and now webinars with northeastern states, with FPOs, with sectoral sectors like spices or food processing or other relevant sectors. We've had phenomenal support. All this has been possible with the phenomenal support from from our DG, Dr. Singh, and from the Secretariat, whom I'm ever grateful for their support. And to our members, once again, if you have any inputs, any suggestions on what more we can do, we are all ears and we would like to be guided by you. Thank you all, and thank you to our president.
Thank you, Mr. Goenka. Definitely, your committee is very deeply engaged with the state governments and also with the central agencies. I would now request our Odisha State Council Chair, Mr. M.C. Thomas.
Yeah, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. President Mr. Jalan, distinguished members of the national and state councils, and valued ICC members across India. Thank you for the opportunity to give a quick update on the State Council, Odisha. I would like to place on record my sincere appreciation and thanks to a very dynamic State Council we have, and my co-chair, Mr. J.B. Pani, who have done all the work which I'm going to highlight. And also a very dynamic State Secretariat led by Jyoti, who they are also doing an excellent job. Thank you, guys. Since last 2 years, we have organized the State Council under 12 sectorial committees to bring the leading organizations as well as people together for the betterment of the industry as well as the state, the business in the state. So we have agriculture, food processing, banking and finance, CSR, energy, healthcare, higher education, real estate, MSME, steel and mines, tourism, and IT committees. They are all competing with each other to be the better, very active. All of them have done their couple of meetings and also some webinars. I will come to that in a second. This has also given a lot of traction among people to come together and participate. Technically, each of them are competitors in their own businesses, but in this forum, all of them work together, come and bring a lot of new ideas and energies. I can say today, without doubt, ICC is recognized among the top industry bodies in the state of Odisha. I also want to highlight a small other thing, which is we have a very special team of women entrepreneurs who came together to form ICC Women Entrepreneurs Committee last year. And this is the first of its kind formed by any state chapters. And this was officially launched by none other than our Honorable CM Sri Naveen Patnaik on 15th of January this year. And today we can proudly say there are about 60 women who actively participate in this committee. So Sukirti and team, thank you and good job. Looking at our government engagements, we have been doing a lot of close coordination thanks to the support we receive from the Chief Minister and the state government of Orissa. Most of our programs are attended by ministers concerned and also the senior bureaucrats. And we also have submitted, each of these 12 committees I mentioned have submitted a consolidated detailed recommendation to the government of Orissa, which was received by them, which was also discussed with us by them, and suitable actions were being taken. Adding value to the members through webinars, even during the pandemic time, there are about 10 webinars conducted by different committees. I'm not going into details, but very, very active participation in each of the webinars by different members on each of those webinars. Looking at one of the recent initiatives by ICC, the Indo-Japanese Business Forum, during August 26-27, the nearly 300 participants from Orissa, including senior government officials, very actively, even B2B meetings went on very well. Thanks to everyone for supporting this. I think to summarize, Team Orissa is fully geared up to restart as the COVID gives up, and we would look forward to restoring our businesses and growth levels to 2019 levels and taking it forward. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas. I think there is no doubt that the Odisha State Council is extremely active, and members definitely are our pillar of strength. And I think the state itself has 12 sectoral expert committees who are very active, and they meet at least twice a month. May I now request Mr. Brish Bhushan Agrawal, who chairs our Minerals and Metals Expert Committee.
Hello, Rajiv. Hi, everybody, and my best wishes. And hello to all the members of ICC family. It is my privilege to see everybody on the screen today. And I wish everybody a good health and looking forward to take the chambers into a different level. As we all know that mineral and mining sector contributes a very major contribution to the GDP of our country. And today it contributes around 2%, I'd say a little more than 2%, and employing more than 15 lakh people in the country. With this roughness of the economy today, the mineral and mining sector has really suffered a lot with the new mining laws, with the auction policies, and with the demands, with the consumptions, with the logistic challenges because of the lockout. But nevertheless, I feel this is a very, very temporary phase of the sector, as for a country like India with such a big population and where the consumption of the minerals and metal per capita is hardly anything, we see a very good boost in the economy and big contribution down the line once we are over with this crisis of COVID and unforeseen issues which is going on, which is prolonging. In spite of so many challenges, which the sector is facing since last more than a year, the chamber is very, very proactive in selling the concerns to the authority at the highest level, from the mining policy to the change in the auction process, and so many other factors are there, like the FDI investment which has come up in this sector to boost the economy, to boost the sector, which is something which is very, very important, making the mining commercialize at the global level, where we see all the major players to part and to boost the production and increase in the economy scale. A lot of other challenges, like representation has been given, like the GST moderate on the services of the mining businesses to make more competitive. Apart from that, the representation on the ban of export on the iron ore has also been taken forward, because we are seeing there is a huge crisis of iron ore. Because of this auction policy, a lot of operating mines are going to be shut down. So we see there is going to be a huge gap between the supply and the demand. So the chamber has initiated a lot of policies, like for a time being putting a restriction on the export of iron ore, and easing out some norms of the statutory compliance in the mining sector, so that mining becomes more easy. So a lot of contribution has been done, and I am very thankful to all the people, all the members who has really given a lot of value input and support in their ideas. And I would also welcome them in the near time down the line, so that whatever the suggestion is there, it would be the privilege to take it forward to the best of the authority and try the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Agarwal. I think you highlighted something very important. All the expert committees basically aim to address the policy issues which members may face. So we would encourage members to actively write to us, approach the expert committees for the issues. Mr. Singh, Mr. Singh, is your audio okay now?
I hope so. Can you hear me now?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. I also wanted to welcome everybody back. Welcome everybody to this program of members. ICC's got a presence in Delhi, and the intention is to increase the presence and do more and more programs for members and people visiting Delhi and the northern region. We have, over the last 1 year, conducted more than 22 programs in and around Delhi, and the reach of Delhi goes down to Bhopal, Indore, Lucknow, Chandigarh, Ludhiana, etc. So we've done multiple programs in a bunch of different cities, a lot of them revolving around IPR and increasing the spread and awareness of IPR around electric vehicles, energy, power, textiles, startups, States Summit. So we're trying to paint a broad canvas rather than a very sector-specific program. And we want to involve more and more members, and also visiting members of ICC from outside of this region. They can come and take advantage of the office here. Delhi has a lot of government, so there is a lot of interaction with the government. And ICC is well placed. Dev Malia and his team run a very, very nice office in Delhi. They have very, very strong connections with the local bureaucrats and administration. And they've also managed to keep a profitable office for the year, which is also a good thing in this time of pandemic. There's also a push to go and connect more with Africa. There's a lot of programs that have been done in Africa, which also will be great to get more members to come and connect with and be a part of. In addition, the office here has also coordinated and worked with a lot of ambassadors, diplomats, bureaucrats, administrators, services, police. So the scope is rather large. And we also handle visiting delegations from UK, from China and other places. So we are well geared to handle those types of programs too. So may I just welcome everybody once again, and please do use ICC office in Delhi as your very own office. Make use of our presence, make use of the team of people here who are really, really well connected and eager to help out with all our membership. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Mr. Singh. Thank you for your support. May I now request Mr. Anil Rajdan to please address us. Over to you, sir. So please unmute. Yeah.
Rajiv and Mayakji, I think a very good year, a very difficult year, as we've all explained through the year and other committee members. Been very difficult times, as you all know. I think unprecedented for a person like me who's seen a lot of.
Sir, if you could be little closer to the mic.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Is it better?
Yes, please.
Yeah. So the energy segment of the ICC has been quite active. In fact, from about the end of last year, we had the 13th India Energy Summit, the 8th Green Energy Summit in February. And then, you know, we're all in preparation for our 14th Energy Summit and the 8th Green Energy Summit, as well as the Green Urja Awards, the new scheme that we've introduced. The Chamber has held through the e-medium committee meetings, and I think 4 very successful webinars, one on the impact of COVID in the energy sector and the way forward on the 7th of May, then clean coal and coal washing on the 15th of June, and clean energy and efficiency on the 18th and 19th of June, and artificial intelligence and analytics in the energy sector on the 6th of August. We already have announced a session on innovation and efficiency in COVID times on the 12th of September. And we're going to have the 14th India Energy Summit and Innovation with Impact Awards, for which we encourage countrywide participation. This year, we, in keeping with the government's intention to promote greener energy, and the PM's clarion call, and just yesterday we had the International Solar Alliance meeting, very large conference, we have decided to introduce the Green Urja Awards through the country, where we would be looking on states in different categories of large potential, medium, and low potential, and the kind of work that they are each doing in that direction, and would like to award them besides our Green Energy Summit. The government has, of course, been in the sector, been badly affected, I think, by the lockdown. It's virtually been a lockout for industry for a long time. But there's some moves of the government, you see, which we did highlight. One was that coal washing was given a go-by. So the chamber held an event on that, and we have had very frank recommendations on that, because the eastern part of the country is grossly affected by it. The other problem that I see is that meter reading has been a casualty for a lot of consumers, both commercial, industrial, as well as domestic. And that is going to give some pain in the future. And I think the chamber has to be vigilant on that, because the DISCOMs will suddenly raise a lot of bills and will give threatening notices for disconnection. So I think the industry has to take a feel from the members, how is it happening across the country, and bring it to the notice of the Power Minister, that I think if there has been slackness on the part of the DISCOMs to read their licenses, the meters, we should give them a little time to pay, because suddenly huge bills will be put up. One good announcement of the government is that the Coal India is going to go into gasification. So I think in the eastern sector, particularly in West Bengal, an investment of 5,800 crores has been announced. And I think that should be a good beginning for many other such initiatives to follow. We look to the members to give us more inputs in the future, and also try and see what initiatives we can do. There's a lot of emphasis on renewable energy manufacture, and I think we need to push that at all fora so that domestic industry is able to transit in time. But for all that, I've been saying that we need cheaper credit, and unless we get credit which is competitive with global availability of credit in the priority sectors, we may not be able to make it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I think we have been fortunate enough to have you as the chairman of our Energy Expert Committee, and you have always been very, very helpful, and your guidance has been valuable to us. Thank you. May I now request our Health Expert Committee Chairman, Mr. Prashant Sharma, to please address us.
Namaskar and a very good evening to all my fellow committee members. A special consideration for our leadership team here, led by Mr. Mayank Jalan and the Vice President, Senior Vice President. Thank you, Dr. Singh, for this opportunity and the whole ICC Secretariat. Yes, it has been a very busy year or half a year for everybody at the health sector, and we all know the major reasons what contributes to that. Whereas, let me first of all congratulate the entire ICC team for adding 250 members during this lockdown phase. I am engaged with other chambers. I don't think anybody has reached even somewhere close to those numbers. Secondly, the kind of programs and outreach which we have done with Central Ministry in finance and all ministries, we have been able to put across points from the healthcare perspective, which otherwise earlier we have never had the opportunity to. So from the entire healthcare fraternity, my deepest regards for that. So just to bring everybody up to date, we have signed an MOU with NatHealth, which is the National Healthcare Federation of India, another body which is based in Delhi. And we are doing a lot of joint events together. They are doing events via us in East, and we are doing things at the national level with them. We have had many webinars during the last lockdown time. We have done more than 5, which includes wellness, telemedicine, and many other topics, which are the burning issues of today. In COVID, we have seen a very major change in the scenario week on week. And I think the private sector has done a pretty amazing job when it comes to providing service. However, now there are changes every 3 or 4 days in the scenario. Just to bring everybody up to date, the situation of the bed availability has radically changed. Up to last month, for every 100 COVID beds available, there were 250 patients and takers. But now that has come to about 70 or 65 to 70 patients needing those 100 beds, which means there is massive availability of the beds as well. Secondly, the fear and the panic amongst people to get hospitalized has dramatically reduced. Most people are availing home care services. Some are availing the satellite health facility services, which means hotels operated by different hospitals. And the entire pressure on the inpatient has really gone down a bit. So we are seeing a major shift in the nature of people, how they are handling this pandemic. Another major change which has also happened is that the rapid antigen test, which was not allowed earlier by the government, saying it was inconclusive, has now been allowed, which means anybody can walk up to any center and get the rapid test done. Whereas the rapid test is not very accurate, but it does tell you whether you are positively inclined or not. Third, the parameter for even the other testing, which earlier required a doctor's prescription and all those things, have now been withdrawn. So basically, even for anybody availing a test on their own free will, even the RT-PCR or the TrueNat test, which is the gold standard RT-PCR, can easily be availed from any testing facility. Overall, it has been an extremely challenging phase for healthcare sector, like it has been for most of the sectors. But slowly and steadily, we are inching back towards our normalcy. So most hospitals are between 70 to 80% of operational levels, which was pre-COVID numbers comparatively. And slowly we are heading towards a situation where in a couple of months down the line, we'll be able to hit our normalcy. Dengue this year has not been very effective. Dengue actually has been almost absent this year, thankfully, because of the various measures taken in sanitation as well as handling of the local environments. We started this year with a lot of medical tourism. So we visited 2 countries and we had a team visit us as well. We had plans to visit 3 or 4 countries more this year, But due to the current situation, that's sort of kept on hold. And once this pandemic is over and travel is more friendlier, we'll be pitching Bengal, Calcutta as a center for medical tourism, especially for those countries which have got direct flight connectivity. So to speak, mostly Southeast Asia, Africa, and Arabian countries. And our offices and outreach at Africa and those areas via ICC, I think that's going to be a very major help for the healthcare sector as such. Apart from that, there are a lot of other events which we have also done, and I'm sure that Secretariat has been apprising us of all of that. And my sincere thanks to all the Secretariat, Sujoy and the entire team for being a very, very strong support, and also the committee for being participating so actively in this whole during the entire year. Thanks. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I think Health Committee also has been extremely active. May I now request our Tourism Expert Committee Chair, Mr. Atul Bhalla, to please address us.
Thank you, Dr. Singh. Thank you, Mr. Jalan, for your wonderful leadership. And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are meeting for the first time after the global outbreak of COVID-19. And as you are well aware, the pandemic has brought us to a new world, completely changed perspective in almost all respect. Most of the sectors of the economy have been suffering from the perils of this pandemic. However, some sectors have been worst hit. Unfortunately, the travel and tourism sector falls under the worst hit category. Although the outcomes are still unfolding, the tourism fraternity of the world is highly apprehensive at present. Faith has already estimated a loss of rupees 10 lakh crore for the industry due to COVID-19. And this will also impact the flow of inflow of the foreign tourists, which means a drastic fall in foreign exchange earnings, which has been close to 210 lakh crore in the Q1 to Q3 2019. Our Indian Chambers of Commerce took some initiatives pre-virus outbreak, and I'd like to highlight them. Annual flagship event of ICC entitled Travel India, a conference and expo on travel and tourism sector of India, which was held under the aegis of Ministry of Tourism, Government of India. And in that, a knowledge report on measuring economic impact of extending Buddhist tour circuit in India was also published during the program. Considering the importance of Northeastern region for promotion of travel and tourism business, Indian Chambers of Commerce organized Northeast Travel Conclave in association of Ministry of Tourism at Shillong. ICC also organized 2-day-long Jharkhand Conclave with support of Department of Tourism Jharkhand and Ranchi. The focus of conference for Buddhist tourism, adventure tourism, and MICE tourism, etc. So, what is the way forward? Answer lies in adopting the promotion of safe tourism in the current scenario. Safe tourism should be the main catch line for the industry. The pandemic has definitely affected travel and tourism industry for the hospitality sector, but these sectors do have the potential to become the biggest employment and the revenue generators in the near future. Coming to some of the statistics pertaining to India, in 2019, India attracted close to 10.5 billion foreign visitors, 1.8 billion Indians travel around the country for holidays, for pleasure and leisure, and 26 million Indians travel overseas for tourism. Looking at all these statistics now seems like an opportunity, and I will look at it as an opportunity emerging in this adversity for Indian tourism, where we have seen some green shoots in some parts of the country. And I would name this as a revenge tourism. Everybody is looking for an opportunity to get out. And we've seen all the drivable distances around the country. We see in Delhi, in Mumbai, even now here, I'm not too sure, but any drivable distance. And this is what is going to keep us alive for next 24 months. It's foreign tourists coming into India. It's a little far cry for time to go. So next, I would say 12 to 18 months minimum, we'll have to be dependent on this tourist from our domestic markets, and which is a fairly large market. And the fact that 26 billion Indians traveled overseas for tourism, and these are all high end. So if they go around in India, and like our Prime Minister said in last Independence Day speech, the importance of making India a global hub for tourism, urging each citizen to visit 15 tourist destinations in India by 2022. So can you imagine what will that do to the Indian tourism and the domestic tourism, where we have so much available with us? Thank you very much. This is all for me.
Thank you, Mr. Balla. I would now like to request Ms. Nayantara, who heads our expert committee on women empowerment, to please share her thoughts.
Good evening, everybody. At the outset, I would like to congratulate Mayank and Dr. Singh and the wonderful ICC team for keeping the ICC flag flying so high during this difficult time. I have had the pleasure of chairing this expert committee on women empowerment and development at the ICC for the past few years. Even though earlier we had very effective programs and conclaves at the regional and national levels, but this time, due to the prevailing situation, we could not organize one. In fact, we had planned a meeting with the chairperson of the National Commission of Women and a SARC Women's Conference end March, but then things took a different turn. However, the committee, with the help of the ICC team, we organized a conclave in Calcutta on 27th February entitled Empower, Reinventing the Modern Woman on 27th of Feb. The summit had special focus on business opportunities for women, along with opportunities that women can possibly have abroad. And of course, success stories were shared. The session covered education, health, leadership, mostly women leaders, and we had keynote speakers from industry, academia, and the government of West Bengal. We had speakers like the additional DG of Foreign Trade, Director of IIM, Professor Anju Seth, Principal Secretary of Women and Child Development, Government of West Bengal, and of course, the Principal Secretary of the Panchayati Raj. We also had the Additional Commissioner of Police, Damayanti Sen. Apart from all this, I've tried to engage with the foreign missions in Kolkata, and we had the Consul General of US coming in twice to us. In fact, when she first arrived, Dr. Singh and I met her, and she really would like to engage more and more with the chamber activities. She's the one who sent Amy Hawkes, who looks after justice and home affairs at the US Embassy, and who's in charge of South Asia, to one of our committee meetings. We've had the Consul General of Thailand talking on women in business. But the one that I really enjoyed was the Consul from Bhutan, who gave us a very interesting talk on gross domestic happiness. The women leaders and entrepreneurs who are part of our committee are very proactive and helped me organize events, including networking events. And recently, just before the pandemic, we have also assisted the West Bengal State Rural Livelihood Mission with marketing strategies for their products made by rural women, mainly in handicrafts in Bengal. Thank you.
Thank you so much. May I now request Dr. Rupali Basu, who heads the expert committee on women entrepreneurship, to please address us. Please unmute.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for this opportunity. Thank you, President Mayank and Dr. Singh, for giving us the opportunity to work in ICC. I particularly requested on working on women entrepreneurship and very focused work on only on women entrepreneurship, because we know that women entrepreneurship in our country has always been looked at as opportunity entrepreneurship and not really the necessity entrepreneurship. We need to actually have women doing financial activities and become self-reliant and add on to the financial goal of the family. So that's how we thought of working only on a specific focused program, which we have named an ICC Inspiration. That is the initiative that we have started in December in 2019. That is an inspiration, ICC Inspiration Empower. We did 3 programs in these 8 months. First was a conference on ICC inspiration, empowering budding women entrepreneurs in Calcutta, and successfully conducted the ICC Inspiration Women Entrepreneurship Necessity to Opportunity in Guwahati, followed by one in July where we did Necessity Digital Drive Inspiration Economic Empowerment of Women. So these conferences and digital connects actually brought together leaders and successful women entrepreneurs, business experts, self-help groups, aspiring female entrepreneurs to share their business strategies and experiences. ICC Inspiration introduced sessions like mentor-mentee session. I think it was extremely well done, extremely well done. We had success stories sessions, which are pretty common, but we still had a lot of people to, who did share their success stories. We had felicitation of the best business ideas from the student community and budding entrepreneurs, and of course, some more activities. ICC Inspiration in Kolkata was attended by more than 150 participants. ICC Inspiration Guwahati was attended by 200 people. And we actually recorded 30,000 impressions and views across sectors. The July 20, where we did in the context of the new normal, we organized ICC Inspiration for Economic Empowerment of Women, a 3 days mega online conference with 22 experts and 6,500 live viewers, where West Bengal and Northeast were included, to equip the women entrepreneurs and sector-wise strategies, best practices to help women entrepreneurs navigate through this impact of global pandemic. So I think we have done so far this much, and going forward, I would like ICC Inspiration, whether I lead or anyone leads, should be a signature event focused only on working on women entrepreneurship, and make sure that we contribute in numbers, showing that this is what we have done to contribute for the country. Thank you so much. Thank you, President, for giving me the opportunity.
Dr. Basu, thank you. I think supporting the women enterprises, definitely it's a noble task, and we would like to continue with this. I would next request Mrs. Meenu Budia, who chairs the task force on special ability. Please address us.
Yeah. Good evening. I have the honor to chair the Committee on Special Ability. I'm happy to share that we have distinguished members in the committee like Padma Shri Dr. Sudha Kaul, Anu Puri, Nilima Ghosh, Sonu Mehmi, Ayona Kundu, and Renu Saharia. And the vision behind this Special Ability National Task Force is to create a conducive and sustainable environment for specially abled individuals. Our mission is to make a positive impact in their lives through both awareness and positive action. So the journey so far had been good. We had several rounds of discussion for an actionable plan. So first event was on mental health, breaking the stigma, wherein Dr. Shashi Panja, Honorable Minister, Department of Women and Child Development, was the chief guest, and Mr. Bruce Bucknell, British Deputy High Commissioner, Kolkata, was the guest of honor. The speakers were eminent child and adolescent psychiatrist Dr. Manoj Shah and leading neuropsychologist Dr. Prerna Shah, both from US. And the second event was interactive session on mental and developmental disorders, wherein Consul General Patty Hoffman was the guest of honors, and it was well attended by doctors, educationists, psychologists, and professionals from multiple sectors and participated enthusiastically. Our future program include special needs briefings awareness for ICC expert committee. And we really look forward to have, like we are having a different national, on 10th of September, we will be having Suicide Prevention Day. So just like that, we really aim to have National Special Needs Day. And to meet different concerned ministers and secretaries through chamber so that we can take it forward. And emphasis to be put on training special needs individuals to become self-employed. And one of the main program is also to extend awareness session for mass and also in neighboring countries like Bangladesh. And we also want to raise awareness in regular school where the children at a very young age, so that they inculcate the attitude of inclusiveness and oneness with specially abled individuals. These are my focus, but I would really like to have your views and uh, advices on this committee. Thank you all.
Mrs. Budhia, thank you. I think the initiatives which have been led by you are really, really wonderful, and they mean a lot to the society and to all of us. May I next request Mr. Rajiv Reddy, who there is some change in the order, who heads our southern region. We have our office in Hyderabad and a very active office. Mr. Reddy.
Thank you, Dr. Singh. I first of all like to congratulate Dr. Singh and Mayank for hosting some really unbelievable events through this lockdown with our finance minister as well as with the prime minister. I think it was a very, very, very interactive session, and I'd really like to congratulate you and thank you for making that happen. We as the southern region, we have been putting a lot of efforts over the last couple of years to have more, create more awareness in the south. We have had about close to 14 events in Hyderabad, Bangalore, Kochi, Vijayawada, and in Trivandrum. So we've covered various sectors, mainly in startups, electric mobility, food and agro, textile, and MSME. And one thing that our Telangana government, since we are based in Hyderabad, they encouraged us to focus more on empowering and actually involving more the MSMEs more. So that's one thing that we've been focusing our energies on. So I think we have actually signed an MOU with the Ministry of MSME for the Government of India to help get more awareness on the kind of issues that the MSMEs are currently undergoing. So some of the few, just to name a few of the events that we've had, our flagship event last year was the electric mobility event, where we had invited the ambassador of the state of Bolivia, which was actually quite a hit in Hyderabad, because since Telangana was selected as one of the target states for pushing this EV cell manufacturing. So a couple of companies from South America had come because they have lithium deposits. So that was, and with interactions with the government, I think that was a very successful event. And besides for that, we also had a delegation from New Jersey in the state government. In fact, the governor of New Jersey had come down for an event for the Hyderabad ICC event. I think, mainly our flagship event was the electric mobility. And in fact, tomorrow we are having another event on electric mobility and, battery storage. In fact, Mr. Prakash Javadekar has confirmed his presence, as well as a lot of notable dignitaries from the Telangana state. So I think, we've started off a couple of years ago, and it's taken some time to get some traction. And definitely this lockdown has really not been very helpful to us in, creating more awareness, since there are already so many chambers present in Hyderabad and in the south. But we are trying our best. And, of course, we're taking support from Dr. Singh and, the main chapter in Calcutta from Mr. Mayank Jalan. And, we're trying our best to improve our awareness here. Thank you, Dr. Singh, for your support. Thank you, Mayank. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. May I now request Mr. Parthiv Nyotia, who heads our startup expert committee, which is known as ICC Next.
Thank you, Dr.
Over
Singh.
to Mr. Nyotia.
Thank you, Dr. Singh. Thank you, Mr. Jalan, and all the other leaders in the ICC chamber. The startup committee has been very active since the beginning of the lockdown. This was formed as recently as January this year, and we initiated a program called the ICC Next with the objective of becoming the first national chamber for startups. We think the government is definitely pushing a lot for startups and put it also in the priority sector for funding from the bank perspective. So there is a lot of focus from the government point of view on startups since 2014, and we're trying to capitalize on that and give startups a platform through which they can lobby their ideas to the central government, through which we can voice their opinions and regulate and also change policies with respect to their sectors. Today, none of the national chambers very adversely are looking at the startup ecosystem. Hence, ICC has taken up the initiative to become the first chamber in the country in order to provide a platform to lobby for its policies and also provide all governmental related support that the ecosystem deserves. Part of the ICC Next program, we have launched 2 initiatives. The Digital Next program, which we are looking for digital transformation for all companies that are not only part of the ICC member base, but also beyond. We're looking at working with the MSMEs and the startups in order to ensure that the digital transformation becomes a norm for the companies that are there in the Indian ecosystem. And the Next Connect is another program that we have launched, which is primarily for the startup ecosystem in order for us to ensure that they are able to sell their products and connect with the corporates which become their valuable customers and also investors in their growth to becoming the next unicorn. So with these 2 new initiatives which we've rolled out this year, we've also done about 10 webinars and we've received a participation of close to 7,000 people. So we have been very active startup ecosystem as a chamber, and we hope to continue doing some interesting events with the local chapters that are there, part of the ICC. We're already in talks with the Odisha chapter and also the North Bengal chapter to conduct events and also activate the startup ecosystem in their respective regions. And similarly, we hope to do that in all other parts of the country. Thank you, Dr. Singh, and thank you, Mr. Jalan, for your support.
Mr. Neotia, thank you. Thank you for driving and leading the startup initiative. I think going ahead, it would really become a prominent chapter for ICC. May I now request Mr. Sanjay Jain, who heads our expert committee on textiles, to please address us.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Singh. A very good evening to the ICC office bearers, committee members, and all members and other friends. I must thank the office bearers for supporting textiles in a very big way. And I would like to specifically thank the Secretariat, who has been very active and very supportive, led by Sushmita. Thank you all for being there. We all know textiles is extraordinarily important for the economy, as it's the largest industrial employer, employing directly and indirectly 10 crore people, which is more than 20% of the total industrial employment. And it becomes more important sitting in Eastern India, because we are most densely populated region of the country. And the only way we can have inclusive employment, if we are able to give skilled employment to our people, which is very much possible with textiles, because you just need 2 to 3 months training to be earning easily 10,000 plus per month. So in that background, ICC Textile Committee has been extraordinarily active. We started the year with a knowledge summit plus fashion show. And if I remember correctly, it was Mr. Mayank's first program attended after he took over as president of ICC. And he was there for almost a whole day. He came in the morning session and also in the evening session. We showed the commitment of ICC from day one to textiles. And it was an honor to have all the top designers of Calcutta on the same platform. In fact, I had never shared the same platform with so many designers, top designers, on a single event. Moving ahead, ICC Textiles, one big objective was to get the whole industry under one umbrella. I remember our now Chief Secretary, Mr. Rajiva ji, has specifically told me when he was heading MSME and textiles as ACS, that Sanjay, you have so many associations in textiles, so many sub-segments working. We need one common umbrella, one common body. And I can very proudly say ICC's Textile Committee is represented by all the prominent associations of the industry, all the various segments. Either the president or secretary are part of this committee. And that's been the reason why we have been able to have a 360-degree approach for the industry, looking at all the segments. In fact, we did a very unique first by going and having a committee meeting in the most biggest hub of Bengal and one of the largest hubs in Asia, that is in Matia Bros area, where no one goes. We just have heard about it, but the whole committee went there and saw with their own eyes how things are happening and what a wonder it is, with over 20,000 crores of turnover from that very small hub. Unheard of, unknown, but very, very strong. And the huge potential we could see and discuss with their local association going forward. We did another very big first of having a first reverse buyer-seller meet in Calcutta, the first, to my knowledge, where 54 buyers came from 24 countries across the world over a 3-day session, and they interacted with our local industry. It was a great event to network with people, and it was ably supported by the local industry and by the central government. This was the first of its time event, and we hope to have it in a more continued fashion in the days to go ahead. And now, of course, we did a lot of webinars like all other industry friends did, and to keep the industry aware of what was happening, what was the potential for the industry and how they were going to cope. It was hugely attended. And I must say, along with health, textile has played a very important role in COVID by becoming one of the large manufacturers of medical textiles practically overnight with no expertise or anything. And today we have started exporting in a big way. And people who are looking at textiles can look at medical textiles as a great opportunity. It's relatively a greenfield area. And we can see India becoming probably one of the largest suppliers to the world going forward, as we learn we move very fast on the learning curve. And we had our own Honorable Minister, Madam Smriti Irani ji, addressing ICC, and the way she took up the problems and the way she very immediately resolved some of them just shows the sort of relationship and credibility which ICC enjoys, not only with the state and also at the central. ICC's Textile Committee has played a very important role in getting the MSME and policy, which also includes textiles this time. Last time, textiles was a separate policy. We were personally involved in giving a lot of suggestions and a lot of interactions with the MSME and textiles department. And as we see, a very nice policy has come out recently, and which is going to be another great impetus to the textile industry in Bengal. And lastly, keeping up with the tradition of doing a lot of firsts, the Textile Committee is coming up with a virtual exhibition, a global exhibition from October 9th to 11th, where we hope to have 3,000 international buyers visiting this virtual exhibition, which is going to showcase some of the best players and some of the best products of the Indian textile industry globally. We all know we can't travel, but whether we can travel or not, business cannot stop. And especially at ICC, nothing ever stops. And sometimes I'm really amazed, and I tell the Mr. Mayank Jalan, Dr. Rajiv, and the other office bearers, how do you do so many programs? It's like mind-boggling. I've been involved with other chambers, but it goes beyond me, and it's kudos to the Secretariat for doing it. And I think so all members who are here should be proud of being part of ICC. And I hope many more who are not members will join, and I can assure you it's going to be more than your value of your time and efforts and energies which you invest in ICC by being part of this great chamber. I have n number of examples how ICC has played an important role in helping not only in the eastern region industry but also at the center. But I think so time is short. We'd love to hear from others. So once again, thank you very, very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jain. Thank you for your kind words. May I now request Mr. Vinod Bamalwa, who now chairs our expert committee on jewelry. Mr. Bamalwa.
Thank you, Mayank and Dr. Rajiv and the team for leading through a challenging year. Things they pulled off seemed impossible at first, Yet things they pulled off were absolutely fabulous and unimaginable given the situation. Kudos to them. A slight sad note, committee chairman Mr. Shankar Sen is no longer with us, and his presence in all events will be missed dearly. ICC initiatives in the jewelry sector are planned and organized with guidance and suggestions of ICC National Expert Committee, formed to facilitate connectivity between regulatory bodies, state and central government, and retailers as well as manufacturers for addressing issues pertaining to the sector and improving business competitiveness. The focus of the committee in ICCR is facilitating credit flow to the jewelry sector, deepen engagement with state and central government, facilitate ease of doing business, and help in overall business development in the domestic as well as international market. This year was a particularly challenging year for the jewelry industry. Yet the things that we have, that the committee and the team have pulled off are worth mentioning. We had our first edition of the ICC Gems and Jewelry Summit, which was a flagship event in March 2018. Interactive session with Ms. Surina Rajan, IAS, Director General of Bureau of Indian Standards in August 2019. And it was appreciated by the entire industry in Calcutta. Abhushan, a jewelry and lifestyle exposition in Assam in January of 2019. And the second edition of ICC Gems and Jewelry Summit, which was held in February 2020. Again, it was a landmark event. We have had webinars on post-COVID economic scenario with Dr. D.K. Srivastava, Chief Policy Advisor of Ernst & Young India in April 2020. We, as a committee, we have submitted recommendations, part one of impact on COVID 2019 on jewelry and lifestyle industry, and the relief measures requested from Government of India and the central governments. Recommendations, which were part two of impact of COVID, we are in the process of being compiled, and we shared with the various government agencies and central government. With these words, I end my address today and thank each one of you for your kind presence and look forward to your involvement with our initiatives and with the ICC to carry forward this journey successfully in the days to come. Thank you.
Thank you. May I now request Mr. Atanu Sen, who heads our expert committee on banking and finance.
Thank you, Dr. Singh. Good evening to all the panelists and members. In fact, I remember what Aldous Huxley, in a brave new world, technology will take over human minds. So we are in a brave new world and brave new warriors of ICC. And my team bravely has carried forward many of the events that has taken place and activities that has taken place. Finance is the blood of the economy as well as the lubricant. And we are strongly focusing on the financial sectors such as banking, mutual fund, insurance sectors, and as well as the pension sector. And the Committee on BFSI has worked closely with the regulators, the RBI, AMFI, SEBI, the insurance regulator, IRDA, and many other industry associations. Me, as the chairman of the National Pension Trust, we have also organized a banking seminar with regulators of the pension regulators tomorrow, as well as the Government of India functionaries who are handling pension. As you are all aware, ICC in the recent past have focused in events as a platform for business development, as well as for exploring business opportunities for stakeholders through dedicated B2B interactions. At the ICC Banking Summit, B2B interactions between banks and MSMEs were held to address address the short-term credit requirements of the MSMEs. Basically, with the Atmanirbhar Bharat, as well as the employment guarantee link scheme that has come as a part of the Atmanirbhar Bharat, we have had different seminars where the banking heads, both from public sector banks, from the State Bank of India or Indian Bank or Punjab National Bank, from the private sector banks, Bandhan Bank, from finance institutions, NBFCs, Tata Capital, everybody attended. And these webinars were attended by more than 300 people in many of these cases. Similarly, in events on mutual funds, direct interactions were conducted between individual financial advisors and the AMCs. And these interactions actually help the IFAs to understand their relevance in this area of digital transactions. And especially now, as I was mentioning, digitalization is taking over the human mind to a large extent. And emerging technologies in finance, ICC have in its events tried to capture this, the evolving technologies in this sector. It has organized financial innovation in practice and focused on these B2B interactions, as I was mentioning, especially, focusing on, innovation leaders and curated startups from incubating, centers. Our flagship event, we could not have it physically. As you are all aware, it is the Emerging Asia Insurance Conclave, where in the last edition, 9 countries, South and Southeast Asian countries attended, and 70 top insurance companies of this area had come forward, and the jury panel was very high profile and consisted of retired regulators from these countries. This year, we're thinking still big. But let's see whether we can have it over the web, or we would like to have it next year when things improve. The conference basically was also addressed last year by partner PwC and head of insurance of Asia. In the meantime, what we have done is we have also to add value to initiative and also to collaborate with partner organizations. We have signed MOUs with Barclays Bank, WeWork, Institute of Cost Accountants of India, and Association of National Exchange Members of India, and me. The webinars were various. I mentioned about the webinars, what we had regarding quantitative easing and credit risk, where the CRISIL, as well as the other, civil and the rating agencies were also there. It was a kind of a all-encompassing webinar, where on one hand we had the bankers, on the other hand we had the rating agencies, and of course the MSMEs, who are the borrowers. We also had, e-conference on business opportunity in Thailand, as well as during this pandemic, we had, understand agnostic investments fundamentally. In fact, we also publish newsletters. You may have seen, we have gone through ICC Policy Watch and Indian Economy Tracker, as well as the BFSI newsletter. And I'm aware the members, we try to make the different regulatory and policy updates which are there. We try to make the members make aware of that. Recently, we have also formed a subcommittee on capital market with the aim to ensure development of a healthy and vibrant Indian capital market, which, as of today, it is vibrant, but mostly driven by the financial institutions and the FPIs, as well as the mutual funds. But we'd like to see more and more retail participation, and the committee will interact with SEBI and the ministry. We are trying to, fix up an interaction with them and RBI, and basically to discuss and debate various policy issues and regulations impacting the sector. Thank you, President Mr. Jalan, for giving me this opportunity, and I'm sure that we will be in this brave new world. We will be working differently, and the new normal will be quite different, and it has come very early for us. Let us not look at it as a pandemic, but a new way of doing things. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sen. May I now request Mr. M.K. Saharia, Chairman of ICC Northeast Initiative, to please address us.
Thank you, Dr. Singh. Jalan President, fellow committee members and members of ICC. Good evening to you all. As far as Northeast is concerned, ICC is the apex body, is the chairman. We have our own premises at Dispur next to the Secretariat, and a very vibrant and powerful, active regional office headed by a regional director. besides working very closely with all the state governments of the region, we work with the Ministry of Donor and all the central government ministries. As you know, Northeast is getting all the importance from the center, and whatever event happens, there has to be a certain positive event in Northeast. In fact, if you are not aware, 10% of the budget of every ministry, but 2, is necessarily to be spent in the North. And as such, Northeast draws a lot of importance. I have received a very large number of activities which our regional office at Guwahati has done during the year. But I would like to just share 1 or 2 with you, which is very important from the perspective of national importance. I go back to a little history that in 2009, when Sheikh Hasina took over as the Prime Minister of Bangladesh with a very large majority, ICC was invited to make a. We made a brief presentation to her and to her selected council members and advisors. This became a watershed moment, and in the later 6 months later, when she visited Delhi, many of our recommendations were part of the 50-point program signed by the 2 prime ministers. The reason I mention this today is that during the year 1920, we held a very important program that was India-Bangladesh Stakeholders Meet at Guwahati. This was held at the instance of state government with the help of assistance of central government, Ministry of Donor, Ministry of Industries, and our Chief Minister for Assam and the Industry Minister, they were both hosts to the program. We had almost more than 200 visitors who came and attended this. Mr. Jawhar Rizvi, the advisor to Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Tipu Mulsi, Honorable Minister of Commerce, they both were present along with a very large delegation. In 2009, we had suggested to the Prime Minister then that we should have inland waterways and connectivity through Bangladesh to the north. In 2019-20, this was taken up very strongly again in this meet. And I'm very happy to state that the outcome was 10 years later, now we have achieved that first 2 cargo movements took place through multimodal transport, and both by road and by inland water, it has reached from Calcutta to Northeast. So this is a great moment, a great contribution which ICC has done in terms of interconnectivity of the Northeast region with the mainland of India. And I expect that inland water will become one of the major way of transport as it used to be in early 50s between Northeast and the rest of the country. So we did have a plan of a follow-up activity to the stakeholders meet, but had to postpone it due to the pandemic. There was a very important and a very interesting program of the Destination Northeast 2019 organized with the Ministry of Donor at Banaras Hindu University campus in Varanasi from 23rd November to 26th November. As you know, Varanasi is the Mr. Modi's center point in terms of various activities, and as such, this particular event had a lot of activities. Besides, had a lot of publicity of it, and as such, the Northeast industries, the small-scale industries, and various other, they got a lot of mileage and a lot of these things to look forward to. You will be very happy to hear that ICC has been approved by the MSME Ministry to establish an IPRC center at Guwahati office. We are going to act as the center for IPR Center. So center would now facilitate individuals, organizations, startups to register patents, trademarks, copyrights, GIs, industrial design. So ICC has been given a very special importance, and we have for at least next 5 years, we would be acting like the nodal agency for all these kind of activities, and to promote as well as to recommend such. And we have in the process of forming a steering committee to handle this one. During the webinar, we have had several webinars during this last thing. We have a very active committee, and I have a very active co-chairman in Mr. Prabhat Pradeep. I'd like to share with all the members here that we are now in the process of forming a core committee for each of the states of Northeast. And I request and invite each one of you who have interest in specific states to nominate some of your members who are based in those areas or in other areas in Calcutta, who can contribute and be a part of this core committee of all the state governments. Thank you very much, Mr. Jalan and Dr. Singh, for this particular opportunity to share some of the activities of Northeast. We work very closely, not only with the state governments, but with the neighboring countries of who are bordering Northeast, particularly Bangladesh, Myanmar, Bhutan. And we are working very closely with entire Southeast Asia. We have taken a lot of delegations in past, and we look forward that soon after the pandemic, we'll continue our activities in this particular region. Thank you very much once again.
Mr. Saria, thank you. I think Northeast Committee and the Council has really done well, and you have been involved with it with a lot of passion, and I think that has made a huge difference. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
May I now invite Dr. Rudra Chatterjee, who heads our expert committee on education, to please address us. Dr. Rudra Chatterjee.
Yeah, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Rajiv ji. Let me first congratulate the President's team, Mayank Jalan's team, for the last 1 year, the exceptionally good work they have done on behalf of the Chamber, as well as having a large number of new members. So I welcome all the new 500 members who are also going to be inducted today. Now, ICC initiatives in the education sector, this is planned with the ICC National Expert Committee on Higher Education and Training to highlight Kolkata, the East India as a hub of higher education and skill development initiative. Now, this particular committee is working along with all the different regulatory bodies, statutory bodies, government, and others, and starts its flagship event, Global Education Forum, Globalized Education Forum, to organize exposition to promise, promote the career counseling, as well as focus on training and skill development. Now, if I just want to mention about the different types of activities, we have actually done very successfully 3 editions of the Globalized Education Forum. Then on 19 July 2019, the expert committee took the initiative for an exclusive interactive session with Professor Anil Sahasrabuddhe, Chairman AICT. Then we have this Globalized Education Forum organizing several virtual sessions during the pandemic. And if I mentioned about the different work we have done, we have submitted a report titled COVID-19, its impact on higher education and training sector and recommendations for government, part 1 in the month of April 2020. We also have a webinar on embracing the new normal in the world of education on 27th May 2020. The regulatory views on evaluation process in the current education system, which is again another challenging question, which was actually, we have interaction with Dr. Bhushan Padwardhan, the Vice Chairman of the University Grants Commission on 12th of June. The digital session on online school education, a reality check. We have organized it on 25th June and participated by a large number of schools. We also organized another webinar, Education in Emerging India, Perspective and Way Forward, on 31st August 2020. Now, in all these virtual sessions and others, it was a wonderful experience that we also organized the implementation in East and Northeast, and wonderful experience to have heard from such eminent dignitaries in the field of education and enriching us with meaningful insights on the national education policy, on which we organized a very, very successful meeting with Dr. Krishnaswamy Kasuenangu, the chairman of the Committee for Draft National Education Policy 201, and the former chairman of ISRO. The focus given also on the vocational education at the school level, the importance of the private-led education system and autonomy of institution pointed out by Professor C. Rajkumar, the founding Vice Chancellor of UP Jindal University. We are also very happy that Anil Sahasrabudhe, the chairman of AICT, almost helped us in large number of our webinar series. With these words, I want to mention that we want to work with the relevant committees, and we are in touch with the Parthiv Neutia's committee of the Startup Committee, where we want to really play some very important role, because we are dealing with the students and we want to encourage these startup things amongst them. I end my address today and thank each one of you for your kind presence and look forward to your involvement with our initiatives and with the Indian Chamber of Commerce to carry forward its journey successfully in the days to come. So thank you all the 127 participants who are with us till now.
Thank you. May I now request Mr. Nishant Mittal, who heads our chapter on North Bengal, to please address us.
Thank you, Dr. Singh. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's my great pleasure and honor to remain present here today to interact with you all on the behalf of ICC North Bengal chapter. ICC North Bengal chapter at Siliguri started a journey last year on 24th September. And since then, numerous notable programs were conducted in conjunction with delegation to high-placed government officials and to ministers from North Bengal and Sikkim. During this lockdown period, the chapter effectively conducted various e-conferences on education, tourism, tea, North Bengal, industry scenario, and other relevant themes. The chapter has also taken a step forward to encourage young entrepreneurs of North Bengal and Sikkim work on sectors like skill development, real estate, MSME, etc. As North Bengal shares borders with the state of Sikkim, Assam, and countries like Bangladesh, Bhutan, Nepal, there is immense scope of revitalizing and regenerating the pandemic-hit sleeping businesses. It has huge potential to attract entrepreneurs and investors because of its economical offering. Before I conclude, on behalf of North Bengal chapter, I wish to convey earnest thanks to all the present over here today and for the continuous support and trust, especially Mayank, Dr. Singh, Mr. Mukherjee, and the entire Kolkata ICC Secretariat. Thank you all once again.
Thank you, Mr. Mittal. I think North Bengal chapter has really made its presence felt only in 1 year. And thank you for joining from Germany. That shows your commitment for making this chapter active. Thank you. May I now request Mr. Avijit Ghosh, who is chairing the Jharkhand State Council, to please share his thoughts. Mr. Ghosh. Please unmute. Yes, please. Yeah.
Good evening, Mr. Jalan, Dr. Singh, and other members who are attending this meet. I also would like to congratulate ICC team for organizing this virtual meet. I take this opportunity to thank Mr. Jalan and Dr. Singh for inducting me in the team. As I have joined this team only last month, after my joining, I interacted with the team Jharkhand, and we have decided the areas where we are going to work. And this gave me some idea about the areas where ICC is working. With that in mind, we interacted with a number of bureaucrats, and then I met Chief Minister Jharkhand. And after discussing with him, it was very clear that he wants to work in the area where actually the poor people are getting benefited. So with that in mind, with that objective in mind, we started interacting with various officials of the government of Jharkhand. Some of the key areas are promoting Tasar silk, generating livelihood in agro and food processing and handicraft. And then we are going ahead, and after that, we have decided to form some council, and we have discussed with various industry house, and we are getting very good support from them. And we are now forming the committees with all the experts. ICC Jharkhand Council will continue to organize a number of training programs, seminars, webinars, focusing on environment, mining, social development, and community affairs, behavioral skills, and infrastructure, and also information and technology, as well as interaction with government officials at Ranchi, Jamshedpur, Bokaro, and other prime districts of Jharkhand. ICC Jharkhand will give all support to state government to attract investment. After we are going to, after the councils are formed, then we will be working in various areas. And we, in fact, in the last 15 days, we have organized 2 webinars, one in Jharkhand, other one in Bihar, for this vocal for local, and we got very good support. And after listening to the speakers there, now we are now interacting with NABARD, because they have got number of schemes, and we are thinking to work with them, and probably that will definitely give benefit to both ICC and NABARD. After listening to a number of experts today, it gave me a lot of insight, and I feel that there is need to work together, and there is a need to interact with other chairmen, other experts, so that we can get the ideas. Because today, after I discussed with them, I found there are a number of areas, in fact, where we can work together. And I am sure the state like Jharkhand requires a lot of expertise, and with the support of government of Jharkhand, because government of Jharkhand is not looking for some expertise feedback. So with this, in fact, I'm getting a lot of input. And with this, I would like to conclude after once again thanking the team ICC for organizing such a nice virtual meet. And I have come to know a lot of people, and probably I will start interacting with them, because now I have come to know who are where. So probably this will definitely give me leverage to work ahead. Thank you very much, Dr. Singh, again.
Thank you, Mr. Ghosh. May I now request Mr. Kanish Sethia, who heads our expert committee on supply chain, to please address us.
Thank you, Dr. Singh.
Kindly
Good
unmute.
evening. Thank you, Dr. Singh. Am I audible? Sir, am I audible?
Yes, Kanish, you are.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I have the dubious honor of being one of the last speakers. That is the guy who's keeping you away from your cup of tea. So I'll keep my speech short so that all of us can have a cup of tea. It's been very interesting listening to all my distinguished colleagues talk about their fields. The learning has been excellent, and thanks to all of you for sharing that. Coming to logistics, we've had a very fruitful last couple of months. we've done 3 large webinars. The first one was a supply chain summit, followed by a webinar on advanced logistics, followed by another webinar on maritime and port logistics. So basically, we have covered 3 large topics, which is port logistics, rail logistics, as well as shipping. We are actually doing another large program in the next month on the, the sunrise industry in our business, which is warehousing. And I would request all of you to please participate in it. We've got some excellent speakers lined up for all of you. And we look forward to doing further programs under the guidance of Mayank as well as Dr. Singh. Thank you everyone for your time and look forward to interacting with all of you soon. Thank you.
Thank you. So that basically covers all the state councils and the expert committees. Although we have a PPT scheduled, and I know Chandrani has worked very hard on that, and she has been posting messages in the chat box. She really wants to make the PPT, but in the interest of time, we will have to skip that. The PPT basically covers the services, what we offer, and I think we are running late. So may I request Mr. Vikash Agarwal,
Dr. Singh, I think
Senior Vice President.
Sir, I think Chandrani can.
Yeah, Mr. Jalan.
Chandrani can email the presentation to everyone, and then
thank you so much, sir.
Touch with her individually, wherever they need any of the services. So Chandrani, make sure your PPT is emailed to everyone who has registered for the event and all the new members.
Sure, I will, sir. If I'm permitted, sir, I could finish it off in the next 5 minutes if time is a constraint. If I may please be allowed, sir. Your kind consideration, please.
Go ahead. Please go ahead.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you,
I
sir,
think you
for
can
this
straight away
opportunity.
you can skip the expert committee
Sure, sir.
pictures and initial thing, just go to the services part.
Sure, sir.
You can skip all these.
I'll do that, sir. So, I'm just a little tempted to talk about our, some glimpses and snapshots of the prominent ICC events hosted by the Chamber in the recent past. So, the 11th of June saw us proud with ICC enjoying a very, a very prestigious and the ICC plenary session with the Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi. We've also had interactive sessions with Srimati Smriti Irani, Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman, Shri Piyush Goyal, Shri Harsh Vardhan Shringla, Mr. Pratap Sarangi, Mr. Deepak Bagla, Mr. Gautam Dev, Shri Nitin Gadkari, Shri Naveen Patnaik, and also Shri Rajiv Kumar. We've had other interesting sessions, one with the Nobel laureate, Dr. Abhijit Banerjee, an e-conference on opportunities in marine and seafood sector, an India-Japan Business Forum, and an exclusive e-session with actors Vidya Balan and Jishu Sengupta, an event that was curated and moderated by Mr. Arundam Shil. I'm tempted to just read out maybe one or two, comments from our satisfied members. We have kind words coming in from Mr. Indrajit Banerjee, the director of Exim Guild LLP, where he writes in saying that Exim Guild is an export-import management startup with global collaborations and is based out of Kolkata. We would like to extend our appreciation to the membership services team of Indian Chamber of Commerce to be working above and beyond the standard remit to induct new members. We are also thankful to the Department of Economic Affairs and Policy MSME sectoral team for the support to enable our micro company to kickstart the business. I wish to congratulate Dr. Rajiv Singh, the Director General of ICC, for providing his dynamic leadership with an industry-friendly approach. We wish ICC all the best and be it the preferred chamber for all the startups in India. Yet another one from Dr. Yoko Bali of Real Telemedicine Labs, where again he says that ICC is one of the best chambers in the country and truly they have made our journey easier with their brilliant guidance, frequent communication, appropriate advocacy, and lawful assistance. Thank you everyone for your kind words and words of encouragement, and we will try our level best and strive to live up to your expectations and supersede the same. These are some of the membership service deliverables which I'd like to take you through. As a chamber, we host seminars, conferences, training programs, international fair, biosimilar meet, all on a regular basis around the year. And all of these serve as a ready platform for networking, which translate into business opportunities for our valued members. We are currently doing a lot of webinars where industry experts and senior government representatives are joining in as speakers, and they are providing guidance and guidelines to member companies in terms of the way forward. We have a B2B or a trade desk, which in a very customized and tailor-made manner does a matchmaking and a mapping between a business opportunity and the company profile of our members, and provides the members with business leads both within the country and internationally. We are here to promote international trade through meetings with visiting foreign business delegations. We have an arbitration cell that takes care of commercial disputes and out-of-court settlement. Being the voice of different industries, we represent issues and concerns of member companies before the government, both at the state level and at the center. Our other services include certificate of origin, visa recommendation, and attestation of documents. We place a free advertisement from our side in our monthly and quarterly publications of the chamber, covering the company profile of our member companies, and which gets circulated across all ICC member companies countrywide, thereby enhancing and ensuring brand visibility of the brands and their reach before a larger audience. Our members get to access ICC publications free of cost. We provide expert advice on monetary and fiscal policy, taxation, corporate labor laws, etc. As a chamber, we also take care of regular information, which is shared on latest national and international policies with our members. We offer support on policy matters, trade fair participation, quality and environment initiatives, and the like. Our members get to participate in industrial and business delegations to overseas, and also get to explore business opportunities through B2B meetings, all of which we encourage and enable. Our members also get the membership certificate for submission to relevant bodies. Considering the current COVID situation, ICC has gone online and digital and virtual in terms of its service offerings to ensure that the members do not lose out in the bargain, considering the challenges to do with the physical events. And so here we have listed the online services that we are belting out to members at the present moment. So ICC hosts events and on a virtual platform basis, the webinars where industry experts join in as speakers and cover current topics and relevant topics on sector-specific areas, and also provide their guidance and guidelines. ICC is all set to conduct virtual exhibitions, conferences, and online B2B meetings with networking opportunities covering various sectors, engaging international corporates and large companies to interact and explore business opportunities with their Indian counterparts. As a chamber, we are also going live in the very near future with online certificate of origin services along with payment gateway. Our members get to avail and access online ICC publication journals, which are rich in content with sectoral updates and industry-related information. And of course, as a chamber, we continue to represent our member companies before the government, both at the state and at the center, and virtually in the current times. Basis a corporate tie-up that we've done with some 10 top brands, we, as a chamber, issue 2 membership cards to each of the member companies. With this card, our member companies can enjoy certain benefits and discounts from these brands across the country and throughout the year. So the brands with whom we've done a corporate tie-up are, as mentioned in here, include Havells, Hewlett-Packard, LG Electronics, Nerolac Paints, Patton, AMRI Hospitals, Supreme Furniture, Samsung, and the Lilith Great Eastern. On becoming a member of the chamber, on enlistment, our members get a login ID with a system-generated password for members to log in into the ICC website as a member, where they can get a heads up of upcoming ICC events. They can put in their suggestions and comments and the like. We also send out a welcome note with the invoice and manual receipt to our member companies, where the membership ID is also mentioned for their ready reference. The membership certificate is also given to our members post approval or post the membership being approved in the committee meeting, and the services start with immediate effect. This slide talks about the ICC Business Directory, which is what we're about to launch mid-September. This directory would be available on our website. And given the digital footfall on our website that we enjoy on a daily basis, the entire traffic would be directed towards this directory. And further, this directory would be also circulated across embassies, PSUs, government organizations, corporates, and across 30,000 plus companies, if not more. So it will come along with a huge circulation, and we are inviting and requesting our member as well as non-member companies to share the listings and advertisements on this directory. The content of this directory would be maintained sector-wise, and the advertisements would stay on in the directory right till December 2021 and beyond, while the listings would stay on in the directory right till December 2022 and beyond. And I would request and implore all the member companies to be a part of this directory, to have their listings and advertisements placed in here to get connected to a huge number of business opportunities pan-India. Thank you so much for allowing me this patient hearing and for your kind patience and for listening in. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So may I now request Senior Vice President, Mr. Vikash Agarwal, to please address us.
Good evening to all our esteemed members of ICC, and sorry for going a little more of the time. We have had a very interesting session today. We have just heard about the various programs and activities of our chamber over the past few months. And it is remarkable to note the relentless efforts taken by our members despite challenges from the pandemic. Our new initiatives in organizing various webinars and e-sessions over the past few months and creation of a digital platform for chamber members to raise issues and concerns online are noteworthy. Not only have these programs helped in highlighting the relevant sectoral issues, they have also gone a long way in showcasing the efficacy and farsightedness of ICC. Well, I was listening to the expert committee chairs about their initiatives and how each of their programs were aimed at benefiting the chamber members of the industry as a whole. The innovative approach and the ability to carry out different initiatives on virtual platform is a result of the deep commitment of our chair members. And congratulations and thank you to each and every one of you for exemplifying the work done under the aegis of ICC. Let me also commend the efforts of the chamber, ably led by Dr. Singh and his team members, our ICC team, for ensuring that regular activities are carried out without any discontinuity or limitations whatsoever. It was equally encouraging to see the presentation of ICC services by the membership team, who have achieved the landmark of more than 500 new members enrollment over the past year. In that, 260 new members exclusively during the lockdown phase. Congratulations to everyone involved in making this possible. And finally, I wish to conclude by thanking every member of ICC for your valued suggestions and continued patronage to the committee. Wishing you all the best, stay healthy and stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Agarwal. I would also like to once again thank you all. Thank you all our members. So we would encourage all of you to actively get in touch with us, whether it is regarding the policy issues or developing your business, connecting with the buyers, partners, or any other support which you may need. With this, we would like to close now. On behalf of ICC, I would like to thank you all. Thank you all our expert committee chairmen and all the members. Thank you.
Thanks.